Hey guys, it's MadameWario. Happy Friday. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to a live update about the kittens that I rescued 2 weeks ago now. It feels like it was about 10 years ago because so much has happened in that time. But I just want to thank you all for your continued support and kind thoughts and prayers and love and all of your positivity that you have sent this way to these kittens. And this is just going to be a detailed, thorough update. I wanted to do this either yesterday or the day before, but chaos ensued, as it does with children. And these kittens are very much children, so it's been I won't lie to you guys, it's been very, very hectic. Very overwhelming. Lots of tears have been shed. I've been feeling all sorts of emotions. It's been really a roller coaster and not entirely positive. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just been a very, very, trying situation. And COVID has not helped anything. It's made everything harder when it comes to rescuing these innocent little babies. And so I just felt like you guys deserved a detailed update. So this is going to take a hot minute. So I just want to put that out there right away. If you're just here for Mario Party, it's probably going to be a little while. I'm anticipating this taking about a half hour. I really don't want it to take longer than that, but I want to be completely transparent with you guys about where the funds that you have donated to these kittens have gone. And what all has been done so far, what's continuing to be done. And so rather than making a recorded video, I just felt like it'd be better to do this live with all of you here who supported this, because I don't know that my YouTube audience is exactly the same as my stream audience all the time. So I want to make sure that the right people are hearing this information. So it's been a really, really hard couple of weeks. And like I said, I've been very emotional and very like, oh my God, what is happening? And so for this, I've turned off all alerts. Any kind of point redeems we get, I'm just gonna ignore until Mario Party. So just bear with me. It's not because I don't love you guys or because I'm trying to ignore you. It's because I want to make sure that I get all of this information out without any interruptions. So I'm also gonna be saying like a collective hello to everybody right now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll say individual hellos when we get started with Mario Party later. I'm also going to restart the stream later so that this is a different segment entirely from that, because I'm going to post this pretty much right after the stream and I have to wait 24 hours to post Mario Party. So anyway, beyond that, I just want to kind of spell out what happened. 2 weeks ago, I woke up to this high-pitched crying outside my window, and I thought it was a bird, and it was a little baby kitten. Somebody dumped 2 kittens on right outside my apartment, and they were literally outside my window. One of them was. The other one was hiding under a car. I went out, found them. You know, they were about this big. They're probably about 8 weeks old when we found them. And when I found them, nobody else was there. I don't know why I'm saying we. Anyway, so I found them and I panicked and I called like everyone in my family. I don't know why my first instinct was to like call everybody I knew and be like, what are we gonna do about this? Like, I just immediately was like, okay, we're in this collectively. This can't just be me. But my family is full of animal lovers and cat lovers. So, I am the absolute person that I'm very glad I found them. I'm glad it was me, because I would never call animal control. I would never just be like, well, that sucks. No. There were people out walking around leaving and just pretending like this crying wasn't happened. And I hate those people. So anyway, that's long story short, I will save an animal like over myself. Like, I'm one of those people that literally, like, if I could have, I would have donated years of my own life to animals in the past so that they could live longer. Like, that's just the kind of person I am. So anyway, that happened on a Friday. I knew Friday Night Mario Party was going to be a disaster if we waited. So I just decided to stream in the middle of the afternoon and talk about the situation, because when you are starting from the beginning, taking care of an animal, it's very expensive. There are lots of things to be done. They need to be checked for health. I had no idea where they came from, no idea what their history was, what condition they were in, if they had any underlying diseases. I don't know. And I have a kitty here that I couldn't risk exposing her to any of that. So anyway, so you have to get vaccinations, you have to get veterinary checkups, which are not cheap. You have to get flea treatment. In 99% of cases, it would be an extreme rarity if that didn't happen. So, and you know, that's just the scraping the surface. That's like not even all of it. So I wanted to get them checked out, but I didn't have the funds to do this, basically. So I reached out to you all, and you guys are such an amazing community. I feel so blessed to have such a loving, supportive community here. So I can't say thank you enough. I cried like 14 times during that stream because I could not believe the generosity and the kindness that was, you know, exposed by you guys for that cause. So I'm very, very grateful for that, and I'm very happy to have you guys as part of this community. So the complicated part, the animal lover that I am wants to take in any animal I find, okay? I want to be like, yes, I am going to have a house full of, I'm going to have a zoo, basically, is what my instincts want me to do. And why my mom freaked out on all of us as kids, me and my sisters, because we're constantly bringing animals into the house. Oops. So anyway, but then she also like didn't say no, so we knew it was like, whatever, she's not gonna say no to this. So that's the kind of like person I am, family I come from. We're all animal lovers. We love animals more than we love people most of the time. So anyway, my space, this is where it gets complicated. My space that I live in is very small. It's a studio apartment, and if you don't know what that means, it basically means it's a one-room apartment. Typically, I do have a separate bedroom, but I don't exactly have a hallway. Like, if you picture on The Sims, like, your first Sims house you ever made that had, like, a room, and then the next room was attached, and then the other room was attached, and there was no hallway, no, like, space to walk around and congregate, that's my apartment. So, it's very small. It's basically just, like, this room is connected to like the kitchen, which is basically like a kitchenette area. It's not like a full-blown kitchen. And then I have a bathroom and a bedroom, which is only large enough for literally my bed. There's like, my bed is like wall to wall with my 2 pieces of furniture that are in there, which are a dresser and like a chest, and that's just like, you know. So I can't convey how this space is very small. There's not a ton of room for anything. So like, you know, I'm getting ready to get married, and my fiance is going to have to move in here at first, and it's going to be like, well, you can't bring anything with you because we don't have space for it. So literally he's going to have to like store all of his stuff, and because there's just no space for it, we're going to have to move into a larger space. But with an apartment, you sign a lease. You can't get out of a lease until it's up, unless you want to pay more money because apartments suck. So anyway, so that's the kind of space I live in, which is not ideal for 3 cats. Keep in mind, I am not even technically allowed to have more than 2, which they don't even know I have 1, because I hate that apartments charge a fee and all this stuff, and like, I don't know, the apartments try to get as much money out of you as they possibly can for the dumbest things and for the littlest things. And so I don't have really an ideal space at all for 3 cats. I really don't even have an ideal space for 2. 1 is okay. 2 is like pushing it. So anyway, what ended up happening was I ended up giving the kitties, this is day 1, by the way, we gave them 2 baths because they had fleas. They had fleas, not horribly, but badly enough to where they'd had them for a while. It wasn't a new thing. So we gave them 2 baths. We're like combing fleas off of them. It's nasty, but this is what happens with animals because parasites exist and I hate it. So anyway, they had fleas. We tried to get them off. I got the medicine that day, treated them with flea medication, and then their bellies were really swollen, which indicates that they have roundworm, which you have to have a vet visit to get medicine for, I found out. Yay, you have to give the vet $45 before they will believe you and say, oh yeah, you were right, they have this thing that you could have treated. So that's another rant entirely. But anyway, that's what I ran into. I was like, okay, they're gonna have to be treated for this. They obviously have a belly condition. It's making them malnourished and hungry all the time, and it's a problem. And very stinky poop. So anyway, but that's basically where they started out. So my sister, MadameYoshi, she has it's not a huge space either, but she has a lot bigger space than I do. In the grand scheme of things. And she had an extra room that she could like have the kittens just be like in their own space. She also has a cat, but unlike my kitty, her cat was up to date on vaccinations, on medical treatment. My kitty was not. So that was another problem. And guess why not? Because of money. So that was like the other thing. It turned into not treating just 2 cats, but 3, because I needed to get my kitty treated as well before I could introduce any kind of new cats in. So here comes even more fun. I called probably like 17 different places. That's not an exaggeration. I called like 17 different places the day I found the cats. Every vet I could possibly think of around me, not around me. Every rescue agency, humane society. And they're all like, oh, well, because of COVID, nobody's taking anything. Because of COVID, we don't have that many appointments. Well, we're all booked up for the next 10 years because COVID happened. Well, we did. And it's like, I basically kept hitting wall after wall after wall after wall and like getting nowhere. So anyway, that's why my sister decided to foster them. So we bought the supplies to have them fostered in her house. They needed kitten food. They needed a litter box. They needed litter. Treats, you know, just things to get them like to feel at home, and to feel like they had their own space. And so anyway, long story short with that, I ended up getting a vet appointment not until, this happened on like August 28th. We didn't get a vet appointment until 2 days ago. So September 9th. And it's like, wow, that's close. So it was almost 2 weeks later from the day I called. They were like, that's the soonest available. And I'm like, seriously? And I guess it was because there were 2 of them. Luckily, I got my kitty, her name's really Noelle, but her name to me is Kitty. I call her Kitty. That's what she is called. So anyway, I got her a vet appointment first because she needed to be taken care of first so that they could be introduced to her. So she got up to date on her vaccinations. She got her distemper vaccine, her rabies vaccine. She got treated for fleas on the same day as the kittens because they were obviously in here. They were locked in my bathroom, by the way, which has no natural lighting or anything. So I felt bad, but they were like totally exhausted. So it was okay. They were just kind of sleeping in there. So anyway, I locked them in my bathroom, got them all taken care of in there anyway and cleaned up. But yeah, so she got up to date on everything, and the next step was to get the kittens taken to their first vet appointment. So really it was like both of their first, or all 3 of these cats' first vet appointment, because when Kitty was adopted, she obviously had like some of her vaccines up to the point where she could because she was a baby. She wasn't old enough to get everything. So anyway, I just took these kitties to the vet 2 days ago for their first appointment, these kittens, and they got them their first booster vaccination. They need 3 boosters for distemper, feline distemper, before they can get their real annual distemper vaccination. And then once they're old enough, they'll get a rabies vaccine, and then once they're even older, they're gonna get spayed. So they will be spayed, because right now they didn't have anything. And I took them to the vet, and they did a fecal exam, and they were like, oh my god, they tested positive for roundworm. And I'm like, wow, shocking. Oh my god, I had no idea. I literally I went there, tried to get medicine. They're like, we don't sell it. And I'm like, okay. So I went to this was at PetSmart. I went to PetSmart, and I asked them to buy medication. They're like, you have to have a vet visit for that medication. I looked online. The medication was literally $4. $4 for this medicine, okay? So I tried to order it. You had to get it through the vet, so I just put my cat's name down. They had an appointment, and then they called me and said, oh, we don't have that cat on file because they've never been seen yet, but we have these other cats, and they were Gooba and my cat Violet, who have been deceased for 6 and 7 years. So it's like, do you really think I have a 24-year-old cat kicking that's like needing this medicine? Dumb. So anyway, so I tried to purchase this medication again under one of their names, and they're like, we haven't seen them in 11 years, so we're gonna have to not, they like wouldn't put it through. And I'm like, great, that's, you know, exactly what I was worried about. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, I was like, looks like we're just gonna have to wait, because by that point it was like less than a week out before getting their actual vet appointment. Thank you for the raid. Save the whale. Sorry, I have everything turned off for the purpose of this update. So I promise I'll get you later, but thank you, Odie. What's up? What's up, ladies? Anyway, so they went and had their appointment, and the good news is they checked out. They were healthy for every single thing except roundworm. They'd been treated for fleas. They didn't see any fleas on them. They did a full examination. They didn't say they were underweight or anything, but they just were a little malnourished because of the roundworm. So they got medication, which you'd think I was like poisoning them by giving them this medication the past 2 days. Poor things. You have to like squirt it in their mouths, and I'm like, this is always fun. This is my whole life with cats. They love it. So anyway, so they're on the road to recovery with the roundworm. Today will have been their 3rd dose of the medication, and already their bellies are like so much smaller, like just in a day, like a day and a half. Last night it was like, oh my god, it's been a day. Like, how? So anyway, but so they're healthy otherwise. There's no other condition. There's no other like worry of them having any kind of disease or any kind of like weird thing going on with them. So they are healthy. So obviously you guys haven't seen them. You're probably like, she's talking about them. Where are they? If she had them 2 days ago. So I was like, we're gonna try this in my very small apartment with my kitty who is being introduced to them for the first time. And so I had them here, and they were exploring and, you know, having a party. And Kitty was absolutely livid. She was totally upset. She crouched in the bathroom, and before I'd gotten these kittens, I'd never heard her hiss before. I didn't know what Kitty sounded like when she hissed or growled. I'd never heard it before. So she was crouched in the bathroom, growling and hissing. She would give me squinty eyes, which means like, oh, I love you so much. And then every time they'd come near me, she'd be like, and like get so upset. So she refused to come out of the bathroom, and they kept wanting to go up to her because they're like the friendliest, sweetest little things on the planet. So they kept wanting to go up to her and be like, let's play. No, she was not having that. She was not about that life. And she would like start spitting. Like, she'd be like, psh, 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 and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why is this happening? So she was totally stressed out. They wouldn't leave her alone. And she refused to eat, didn't drink, didn't go to the bathroom, nothing until the next afternoon. So needless to say, that night I tried to go to bed, and it was like a non-stop battle. It was like a cold war between all the cats, because the little babies would torment her, and she would snap at them, and you know, I had paws like under my door at one point, and she's attacking each paw, and it was just constant growling and hissing and ridiculous craziness the entire night. The kittens didn't sleep. They were going crazy. She didn't sleep. She was going crazy. And I went to bed. I went to bed at like 2 a.m. because one of them like pooped and peed on the rug outside of the litter box because she couldn't figure out how to get into it because it had a doggy door. So I felt bad about that. That was not her fault. That was me. So I had to do laundry at like 1 a.m. So we went to bed at 2 a.m. It was like an all-night fiasco. Finally at about 6 a.m. after trying to not... After just... I mean, this was like, 4 hours into the night. I'm like trying to get things to settle down. I finally was like, okay, you two are gonna have to go out here. She's gonna have to stay in there. For another 4 hours, there was that like battle under the door, growling, hissing, whatever. I didn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep yesterday until 9 a.m. So I went to bed at 2 a.m. I fell asleep at 9 a.m. finally because Kitty finally settled down. I think the kittens finally like fell asleep out here after being up the entire day and night and having a vet visit and everything. So I fell asleep at 9 a.m. and I woke up at noon. So I got a whopping 3 hours of sleep. And I was like, I was looking things up online of like how to introduce kittens to a new cat your existing cat to new cats. And I was breaking about every rule under the sun because I couldn't introduce them slowly. Like there was no way of blocking one off and having the other out. Like there was no way of doing that because if I do that, they're either blocked off from the litter box or blocked off from their food or blocked off from something else because again, my space is too small to accommodate. So anyway, so then the other problem is when you've got 3 cats pooping in the same space and it's this small and there's not very good ventilation. I've talked to you guys about my asthma that I've had in this space. It does not smell good. Very, very stinky. So I was like, well, I'm either gonna live this poop life, which, you know I sing about scooping and pooping all the time. But I was like, either everything I own is gonna smell like poop all the time, and my whole space is just gonna be poop city, basically. Or we're gonna have to do something about this. And so I talked to my sister and I was like, look, this space is really not ideal. Like I feel so guilty not giving this more than a day's chance. Cause I'm like, I really don't think that's long enough for any cat to get to know a new cat. It isn't. It's not enough time. It takes like a couple weeks. So I'm like, okay, I just don't know how I'm gonna do this in a good way. Like this space is so small. Like I just had so many strikes against me and I felt bad because I was trying not to be like super overly affectionate to the kittens and have Kitty sitting there growling and wanting to attack them. So I've had all kinds of really, really like guilty thoughts like, oh my god, I didn't like open my heart enough to them. I didn't give them enough love like while they were here, which like I did and I gave them attention, but I was like so worried about like the whole situation with Kitty being here and the kittens that I was like, oh my god, I'm not giving enough to any of them. Like I am literally not doing this right at all. So last night, I went ahead and I took the kittens back up to my sister's. They were like crazy here up until that point. I felt so bad putting them in the carrier because in the car they look like, where are you taking us? And it like breaks my heart and makes me want to break down and sob because I don't know what this person who dumped them did. I would imagine they probably took them in their car and then just, there you go. And they were probably terrified and crying and like begging for mercy like they do when they get in the car with me. And it breaks my heart to think of that. So anyway, regardless of the drive that was like, look, you're just going back where you were. Don't worry. You're going home. Like you're comfortable there. It's fine. I got to my sister's and they got out and they were like, oh wow, we've been here before. And then they immediately got comfy and just like passed out. They finally slept. I was like, oh my god, they're sleeping. They have found sleep. So they were totally comfortable, like back in their element, sleeping, and I stayed there for a couple hours last night and they slept next to me and on me and I was like, okay, and I was like giving them love. And so they were so sleepy and so sweet. But But, you know, it's been very heart-wrenching because since coming back, I've felt very, like, guilty and very upset and very, like, I'm not doing this right, or, like, I'm trying to do the right thing, but I'm doing everything wrong, and I've just had a lot of, like, really awful, like, anxious thoughts, and I think part of it was that I didn't sleep for more than 3 hours in a 48-hour period, or not 48-hour, but, like, 36-hour period, let's say, so that was really messing with my head. And I just, like, you know, I hate to, like, look at all the negatives. I hate to be like, oh, well, you know, it did this and that, and this didn't work out right, and whatever. Like, I want it all to work out in the way that I fantasize about it in my head. Like, I want it to work out where they're here, and we're living this, like, comfortable life, me and these 3 kitties and Queen, and, that there's no issue. But, like, I think the reality is just, like, the hardest pill to swallow is that this space is not big enough for them, and it's not ideal for them, and it creates a very stressful environment for them rather than a comforting one. And so I talked to my sister, and like I said, I felt so guilty, like, but I feel like God brought them here so that I would take them. Like, why would he bring them here and then I don't, like, end up adopting them? Like, how is this working out? This doesn't compute in my brain. So it's been really, really hard to just figure out what's going to happen, and then I get very, very nervous. I'm kind of a control freak too, so I get very nervous thinking about somebody else adopting them that I don't know, that's not like a member of my own family, because I don't want them to treat them wrong, or I don't want them to not take care of their needs, and I don't have any control over that. Like, I don't have any control over what somebody else does. So it's like, just knowing how sweet they are, anybody who met them would immediately want them. Like, if they were thinking of wanting kittens, like, they would immediately be like, yep, they're perfect. So unfortunately, I wish I lived in a different space, a larger space, a better environment for them. But I think the reality is that I don't, and this would not be the best space for it. And it's been very, very difficult just to face that. So I want them to have the best life possible, and I know I would give them a good life, but I worry about, you know, who else is out there, who else is going to take care of them. So anyway, I talked to my sister, and we even talked about possibly splitting them up, where I take one, she takes one, but they're so, like, dependent on each other, and they have such a strong bond. It would be like splitting up twins to never see each other again. Like, it just feels so wrong to do that. So it almost has to be like, it has to be all or none. Like, you get both or you don't get any. So that's the other thing, is like, we didn't want to split them up between us because it would just be so, like, hard on them. They are just so, like, joint at the hip. They do everything together. I've not seen, like, 2 kitties that are this bonded together. They are like twins, really. So I don't want to split them up either. That's not something that I want to do. And my sister is possibly moving now, and so she doesn't want them to go through this huge move, and doesn't even know, like, the space she could possibly be moving into for sure. She already has a cat, just like I do, and wasn't really, you know, anticipating getting 2 more. I mean, neither was I, which, if push came to shove, you know, and, like, we weren't able to find them a forever home, like, I would just suck it up, I guess, but I would still feel like this was not, like, the ideal environment for them. So basically, all I can do is provide the care and the medical attention they need, and, you know, find this person who can give them their forever home. And my sister is helping me do this as well, obviously, because she's truly fostering them. I mean, they are in her space. I've just been kind of providing, like, the medical care and the, thanks to you guys and your generosity, the financial support. So I wanted to outline everything that your financial support has covered so far, because, again, I want to be completely transparent with this. I don't want any part of this to be like, you know, where did my donation go? Like, I want you guys to know exactly where everything has gone and where it's continuing to go. and just how expensive it is, because I have gained, even being the animal lover I am, I have gained new appreciation for organizations that do this, like, so that these animals can get adopted, because you really don't know how much they do until you do it yourself and you try and figure it out for yourself. So anyway, long story short, we are working to find the kittens a forever home. For as much as it breaks my heart that they cannot stay with me, or this isn't the best place for them to be, I think in the end, like, if we find the right person who's willing to take on both of these little girls and give them the best life possible together, who's going to take care of them in, you know, a good space, ready for that situation, I think that's going to be the best thing, for as absolutely difficult as that is to swallow. Like, I've literally cried over this for, like, the past 2 days, like, straight. So anyway, that's what's happening with them. That's why they are not here. They're at my sister's, where they can have more of their own space. And so Kitty's not freaking out. They're not freaking out. It's like a much more relaxed environment. So last night I was so drained. I was like, I'm gonna do an update. Then I was like, there's no way. The update would just turn into me sobbing the whole time over how overwhelmed I was and not getting anything put out there correctly. So I want to go over everything you guys have funded so far, for those of you who donated, because you guys made this possible. Like, you saved these kitties' lives. Without you guys, we literally wouldn't, like, we would have treated them for fleas and been like, well, and even that would have been expensive, because, you know, the flea medication's like I think it was $20 a cat, so it's like $60 alone for that, just to medicate for fleas. That's it, for 3 cats. So anyway, I want to be upfront with where everything has gone so far. And this is what this has covered so far. We got their supplies, so we got their food, their litter box. This covers, like, treats, anything, which, I mean, treats are, like, you know, I guess a plus, but I just want to include everything. We got them a couple toys, got a carrier for their vet visits, and then their veterinary exams. For all 3 cats, veterinary exams, which I am a bargain hunter, you guys. So I'm such a dork. This really is where the grandma comes out in me. I went online and I was like, okay, I'm finding this. We got to find, like, a way to get a discount. Well, I found out that at the vet I was taking them to, the first visit, if I had this coupon, it was free. So I was like, I'm getting in on this. So otherwise, each visit would have been $46, which would have been $130, or, like, you know, I think I rounded that up. I don't know if that's the exact number, but it would have been like $46, because I think there was a discount for the second one. If I took the 2 kittens together. Regardless, it would have been like $130 to take all 3 of these cats to the vet, just to get an examination, for the doctor to look at them. That's it. No treatment, no vaccines, no nothing. So anyway, so for supplies, we got the vet exams for free. Yes. We got vaccinations. Kitty got 2 vaccines. She got rabies and distemper, which are like the 2 that you need. And then the kittens, sorry, I'm going to turn my music down just a little bit. The kittens got their first booster vaccine for distemper, which they need 3 in order to get their real vaccination. So and they have to be spread out like 3 weeks apart. So it's like, okay, this is a waiting game a little bit, but they got their vaccines. So that's 4 vaccinations so far. Flea medication for all 3. We have, I got Kitty a nail trim, pedicure, which she was in desperate need of, so thank you guys. Deworming medication for both kittens, and then fecal tests. I had to pay, that's right, I had to pay for them to examine their feces to tell me that they had roundworm. Again, not like I already knew this and I tried to treat it 2 weeks before. Thanks, pet system. I'm glad you want money that badly more than you want to help the animal just by being like, yep, that's it. So anyway, so far My original goal, you guys, was on here. I had a $350 goal. $350 was my Twitch goal, meaning that I didn't get $350. That was the donated amount to get me close to like a little bit over 300, because Twitch takes a portion and Streamlabs takes a little portion. They're little, they're not big, but if you take 10% off of a big number twice, it adds up. So I was like, I'm just gonna put it up to $350, so that way we'll get a little bit more than 300, and that'll cover the basics. That, everything I just named, was $382 total. So it was $82 more than what I was anticipating, plus that's with 3 free veterinary exams. So really it would have been $510 to do all that if I had to pay for every single veterinary exam. So I would have been like a little bit over halfway what I needed. That's how much it costs. So you guys, when you see like rescue organizations, or if you follow Best Friends Animal Sanctuary or any of that stuff, I am so grateful for what they do and what they pay for. If you adopt a kitten, usually there's like a cost of $60 or $80 adoption fee that covers all their vaccinations, flea treatment, and spay and or neuter. And this is how much it is if you just do it yourself. Like, that is ridiculous. So that's why I want to be transparent. So all of that I named came out to $382. And then that leaves after, because I got like a little over $700 in donations, you guys, and this is after fees. This is after the Twitch fee, after the Streamlabs fee, all that. It was a little over $700, which is unbelievable. Thank you guys endlessly for that. So I have about $328 left, and I did the math, and I need 338. It was like $10 less than what I would need to cover everything left, minimally. So, and that's because I don't know the exact cost of everything yet. This is just what I've estimated from looking up online, because to get both kitties spayed, just to get one kitty spayed, is anywhere from $45 to $100. So 2 kitties could be anywhere from $90 to $200. So I had to just like overestimate to be like, I don't know. I don't know how much that's gonna be. And then they got their first booster. Each one needs 2 more. So that's 4 more boosters. And they're like probably $22 each. So that's $88. And then they need their real shots after that, plus their rabies vaccination. So that's another 4 shots. So that's another $88 or whatever. So we're looking at $170-ish. So I don't think I went with the $100 amount for, if I added this up, I don't remember how I added this up, but not going for that like $80 or $100 amount. I think I was more in like I don't know where I was, but I didn't go for like the full amount on the possible cost of the spay surgery, because I figured I would probably like find a vet that would do it for a certain amount and be like, yes, this is what's happening. So anyway, yes, that you guys went above and beyond with this, and it's just there, like just there. So I'm trying to make these funds stretch as far as I can. The vaccinations, I think they're pretty standard. Like, their price is pretty standard. I'm going to try to find a place that is reputable, if not like the vet they've been seeing, to spay them. I know that the vet they've been seeing has really good equipment and really good facilities for spaying. I need to find out how much it is exactly. So but yeah, so really what's left is like almost exact to what I need left for them with what I've estimated. So you guys going above and beyond, it's like, I can't believe that I estimated so under what I thought it would be. But I cannot express my gratitude enough, because this is making it possible for them to get literally all of their needs met at almost the exact amount. like with, you know, that's it. Because I was like, oh, any extra we have, we're gonna use for food or use for this. And it's like, there is no extra, but at least they are going to be taken care of. They're gonna have to, you know, they're gonna be healthy and on their way. So yeah, but yeah, if I go to a different vet, I'll probably have to pay another vet fee visit, so I probably have to just stick with the one they have. But I don't think the one they have is $100. I think it's less than that. I don't think it's $45. It's probably more in the $75 to $80 neighborhood if I had to guess. But again, I need to call and find out for sure. It's just been a lot going on, like figuring all this out. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure that out, you know, next week or something. But I wanted to be totally transparent with you guys about how much it costs, how much everything has cost, and just the funds that have gone to this. I want you guys to know that everything you donated is going directly towards these cats and towards these kittens. And, you know, Kitty was just to get her up to date. Hers was easy. Theirs is a lot more complicated. It's many, many vaccines and many vet visits. And the other tricky part of this, and I think this is what's really gnawing at me, is that if we find somebody to be their forever home, I don't have, that's what scares me. I want to make sure that whoever we find takes care of all this stuff, and knowing the expense, it's not cheap. So I want the person who adopts them to know, like, yes, if it were a family member of mine, it would be easy, because then I could just be like, look, I'll take them to the vet and take care of this stuff because we have the funds allocated for it already. But if it's somebody I don't know, I can't just hand over this money to them and assume they're gonna do what I'm hoping they will with it. We've thought about possibly having a system. My sister and I have, if they send like a receipt to me, maybe there could be a reimbursement thing, but I think that's kind of messy too. I don't know. So if we do find a forever home before all of this happens, because they're not even going to be old enough for their space surgery until like December, so that's kind of a long time. So we're trying to figure things out still, and it's been a very stressful process trying to figure this out. So that's why I say I just don't know like how to approach this next step, and I wouldn't adopt them to somebody who was not willing to take on these next steps, and the financial aspect of it. So say they get adopted in the midst of their treatment, and whoever adopts them agrees, like, yes, I'm going to get these things done, this is what's happening, I have my own vet, whatever, then I would just have these funds allocated to the continued care of Kitty, because she's kind of a rescue too. I basically took her because my mom couldn't, and so I wasn't really anticipating having her, but I, you know, have since fallen in love with her. I tell you guys all the time, I'm in love with kids. So, and yeah, I've thought of that too, making the appointments and then letting the person who adopts them like know about it. But the problem is that I don't know if whoever adopts them might have their own vet or something, and I don't know how to really deal with that. I think it's going to be very situational, and I'm trying to like control it all in my mind, and it's not working, which is like one of the big stresses. So anyway, that's all the financial part of it. So you guys, what you donated is what I'm telling you guys is what you donated is exactly what I needed. So thank you, because I would have never imagined it would have added up so quickly to be so much. I mean, I kind of knew, but I think I was, you know, in my mind thinking like, oh, one, like what I had set for my donation goal for these kittens was enough for one. So when you get two, it's a little bit more difficult. So I just want to thank you guys. I couldn't do this without you guys. I really couldn't. I would have no way of coming up with $700 to get these kittens taken care of the way they need to. I would just be like housing them and having treated them for fleas and trying to get them magically dewormed somehow without going to the vet. Or I would go to the vet with those coupons that I would have found. So that may have worked out, but I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea. if anything, I undershot, because even like with that, we're coming out even pretty much for their treatment, and it could have been $130 or so more than that, give or take, you know, depending on how much that of a discount, if any, they would have given for more than one cat. So yeah, it's been a journey. So I just wanted to put all of that out there, and I wanted to talk to you guys, like I said, live on here, because again, I don't know that all of you are on my YouTube channel like you are on here, and I'm sorry that this has like been the first hour of my Friday night stream when this is like, oh my god, what about Mario Party? Don't worry, we're gonna get to that, but I just had to get this out there, and there was no other good time, and I didn't want the whole stream to turn into like me getting interrupted but trying to like talk about you know, trying to talk about like this serious situation with the kitties. I knew that was not going to work out well, and that I've been so like stressed and anxious about this and very like emotional that I was just probably going to be like a hot mess if I did that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to update. So I've been really worried too. I hope none of you guys are disappointed in me that like I am unable to take them myself in my current situation. I've been like super anxious about that. Like, oh my god, everybody's gonna hate me because they like donated to get these cats like taken care of and healthy, and now like what if I'm not even taking them? Like, I'm not able to take them. Now everybody's gonna hate me, and I've been like very, very anxious about that. So yeah, I just wanted to be, this is my wonderful little notepad I have with all the financial stuff on there. But I think, you know, it's just been a lot. Like, it's been a lot to take on, and, you know, I've had a lot of, like, guilt, like, oh my god, like, what if I'm burdening people by, like, having asked this, and then, like, I don't even take them, or what if I've burdened, like, my sister for having to, like, house them, like, I didn't want to. I've just had, like, a lot going on, I guess. So I appreciate you guys so much, and I'm so grateful for all that you've done for these kitties, because I wish you guys could meet them. Like, I wish you could meet them, because they are literally the sweetest, friendliest kittens I've ever met in my life. And I grew up, there was one point in time where we had 13 cats at our house. Like, not all of them were in the house, but we had 13 cats, like, with names that lived in and outside of our house. So now, them being, like, the friendliest ones I've ever met says a lot. And thank you guys so much for all your messages, too. I'm sorry, I should be, like, reading these aloud. But I'm gonna just take some time and read them now, because I don't want them to disappear and me be like, oh, well, I didn't read that, sorry. So give me 1 second to read. Oh, thank you so much, Scott, man. Thank you guys for the reassurance. I've been like panicking over this. Like, it's part of the reason I didn't want to stream like before this and talk about it, because I was like so nervous. Thank you, Paper Toad. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Yo-Yo. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Madam Cooking Mama, you're an idiot. I'm just kidding, but well, you know I'm kidding. Whatever. Thanks, Mom. Thank you guys for all of your messages and support. Yeah, it's been a journey, and it's still a journey. The journey's not over. I just, you know, it was a lot to talk about and a lot to update you guys on, which is why I've been so quiet. Which is why I've been so quiet on Twitter too. I didn't feel like it was right to like spill all this on Twitter. I was like, that's kind of, I don't know, I felt like that was a cop-out, and I was like, I just don't want to be, like, texting all this. I hate texting anyway, so I didn't want to, like, do that. So I was like, I need to have, like, a stream or just a moment, which is what this has been, like, a long moment. LOL, half hour, underestimated by, like, 2 times. Guess what? I'm, like, always in the halfway mark of what I'm like, this will take a half hour, and then 1 hour later, I'm like, whoops, it took twice as long. Oh, well. Excuse me. So if you guys haven't seen, I spent the longest time, I still have trouble calling them by name because I literally named them like 2 days ago, and I took 2 weeks to name them because I don't want to get like so attached to make things even harder. Like, I know you guys have probably heard of that before, like when you name an animal, that's it, like you're attached. And so it took a long time for me to be like, I need to name them. What do I do? So it's hard for me to even like reference them by name. Yeah, I will. Next time I'll just say this will take 2.5 hours and it'll be great. But I did officially name them. I kind of knew what I was going to name the little black kitten from the get-go because, you know, black cats, Halloween, we're entering fall. It seemed very appropriate. I was like, Nightmare Before Christmas is my favorite movie. And Sally is the main girl in that movie and one of the heroes in that movie. And so I was like, I really want to name her Sally. And I liked the idea of, first I was going to name them after my 2 favorite teas, which are chai tea and rose tea. And then I was like, well, that doesn't seem like super fitting. I don't know. It just didn't like vibe with me. I was like, I feel like that needs to be more of a middle name thing. So I was like, okay, well, what if we had Sally Rose? And then it took me a really long time to figure out what I was going to name the little gray one. And I'm like, what am I going to call her? And Sally is also the name of she's really like the main character in this movie, but one of the 2 sisters who are both main characters in the movie Practical Magic, which is one of my favorite movies and definitely one of my favorite movies to watch in the fall. And it's about 2 witches who are sisters who share like this absolutely incredible bond, basically. And, you know, the whole movie is about kind of like their bond and like saving each other and just kind of like, you know, that bond that cannot be broken, basically. And they're both witches and they're both like sweet, and that fit them so well that one of their names is Sally and the other is Jillian. So I was like, well, what if I named her, I was like, there we go, I should name them after those 2 sisters. That would work out perfectly. So the little black kitty is Sally and the little gray kitty is Jillian or Jilly. Jilly is easier to say. And yes, the movie spells her name with a G for extra fun so that everybody can go, oh, Gillian! And I'm like, no, her name's not Gilligan. It's Jillian. That's how they spelled it in the movie. I can't help it. I'm sorry. So anyway, but if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. It's called Practical Magic. It has Sandra Bullock and, oh my god, her name just escaped me. How am I forgetting her name right now? Nicole Kidman. I wanted to say Natasha, and I'm like, that's not right. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock are the 2 sisters. And so yeah, Sally and Jilly. So I did Sally Rose and Jillian Chai, or Jilly Chai. So those are the kitties. Those are the kittens. That's what I ended up naming them, what I'm calling them. I mean, obviously, when they get adopted by their forever home, they probably won't have the same names, but I can do whatever I want. So, I can do whatever I want right now with naming them. You know, I was talking to Odin about how every animal I've ever had in my entire life has not been called their actual name. They've all had like really dumb nicknames. For example, Gooba. So, surprise, if you guys didn't know, Gooba's real name is not Gooba. And Kitty's real name, surprise, isn't Kitty. But the only animal I've ever had in my life that did not have a nickname that was not anywhere near what their actual name was is Queen. You can't call him anything else. Like, he's too dramatic. Like, he's a drama queen. Like, he's Queen all around. That's all that fits. He has no nicknames. He has no other weird lingo. He's just Queen. So, yeah. And I think anybody who's ever had a pet in their life, this happens. So, Oh my god. Yeah, Madam Cooking Mama named her. And like, her first name, Love. Her middle names, huh? Yeah, Gooba was not actually named Gooba. That was just my nickname for her because she had a peanut head. And one day my dad said she looked like a goober. And I was like the candy? And she did. She had like a peanut-shaped head. But then I thought goober sounded too boyish, so I started calling her Gooba. And that's what I called her from the time she was like a year old. So that's exactly where that came from. I know that's a fascinating story. Kitty, her real name is Noelle. But whenever I went over to my mom's house, I'd be like, well, she's just a kitty, Mama. Like, anything she did, she'd be like, that's bad. And I'm like, well, she's just a kitty, Mama. She's just a kitty. And so she just became Kitty. Like, that's all I ever called her. I never called her Noelle, because she's just a kitty, Mama. Sorry. She's just a kitty. That was like her excuse. Her excuse she's just a kitty. What's funny is when I started Let's Playing, Gooba got mistaken for Goomba all the time, which I could see because it's like, I'm a gamer, I play Mario games. Goomba is like the most common enemy in the world, so I had so many comments that were like, I love your kitty Goomba! And I'm like, no, it's Goomba. Oh my god. So yeah, this is so dumb, but Gooba's real name, again, I'm just calling Madam Cooking Mama dumb, sorry. She's not dumb, but I just like to give her a hard time. So anyway, Gooba's real name was Paris Satine Anuxinyaman. Who names a cat these names? I don't know, my sister does. So anyway, her real name was Paris, but she became Gooba. She was Madam Cooking Mama's cat. She was kind of stolen-ish by my mom. And so my mom's karma is now that I have kind of stolen her kitty, Noelle, who's now Kitty. And, yeah, we adopted 2 siblings. Well, by we, I mean really, like, my sister did. But she was Paris, Satina, Nuxinyaman, and then London was London Christian Emotep? Was that it? London Christian Emotep. Okay, I think these, like, second... She's here, so she can tell you, but I'm pretty sure these second nicknames are from the Mummy. Aren't they? Aren't they, like, Egyptian or something? Because they're, like... they worship cats. I thought it was Emotep, not Emotel. I thought it was... Oh, okay. I was like, it is Emotep. Yeah, from the Mummy. That's what I thought. I was like... Yeah. So anyway, Madam Cooking Mama always has the most ridiculous names for her animals. But yeah. So, anyway, that was Gooba's real name. Don't worry, I won't quiz you guys one day. I won't be like, time for some Madam Trivia. What was Gooba's, like, full real name? Not just Paris, but the whole thing. What is London's entrance quote? Well, his name is London Christian Emotep. But unfortunately, London only lived to be a few months old. Or like 6 months old? 5, 6 months old? Which is crazy. Like, this is why you don't adopt from Uncle Bill's. Ever. Because they go through puppy and kitty mills that interbreed to get purebreds. And they charge top dollar for it 7 months old. I knew he was close. I couldn't remember because I was only like 13. But yeah, he ended up having a disease called FIP, which is a feline virus that is actually in the coronavirus family. So, believe it or not, and it was absolutely terrible. So, it's crazy because Gooba ended up living, I mean, really, she only lived half the life I would have expected for her because she only lived to be 10 years old, and I had, you know, my other cats lived to be 17, 18, 19, you know, into their older teen years, and so I always hoped that would be the case for her, but just the line of family they came from was very shady, and, you know, we didn't know this until after they were adopted, so, yeah, that kind of did both of them in, and we were lucky that Gooba lived for 10 years, honestly, given the fact that her brother only lived for 7 months. So it was awful. It was a tragedy, and it was extremely difficult, you know. Happened right after Christmas too, so. Adopt, don't shop. But like for them, it's like, you know, they're so like sweet. Like you couldn't say no. I mean, I think that sometimes you get a pet in a mysterious way, and it's like that, you know. That was like, Gooba's one of my closest pets I've ever had in my life, and one that I had a bond with, that I don't know that I'll ever have that exact bond with another cat again. It's just, that's how it is, you know. I've never had a bond with a cat like Kitty. She, like, I think I'm the first, this is the first cat I've ever had that's treated me like mommy. Like, oh my god, I love her. Like, she's like obsessed with me, and I'm obsessed with her too, and I've never had that happen before. Whereas Gooba, we were very much like, she thought I was like an equal to her. So we were very much like on on board with each other, bugged each other all the time. And then my kitty Hope I bonded with because she was partnered with my cat Violet. They were like life companions, and when Violet died, she kind of bonded to me, and so that was a very special bond after that, because before she was like totally catty, and I, you know, she was just like a, you know, I loved her obviously, but I didn't have like a strong bond with her before that. But after, it was like I'd never had a bond like that with a cat. So they're all different, they're all unique, and you know, you never know what kind of pet will do what to you, and it can be some of the pets that we have for the shortest times. Like Hamo, I definitely had a bond with Hamo. She got up every morning, licked my finger, okay? This hamster licked my finger to say hello, went back to sleep, and she would come out and see me and would wait for me to say hi to her, and it was like this really, really sweet thing. Whereas Queen, Queen is another story, okay? Queen is like, you know, they say you have familiars. Some animals are familiars. Like, you just have an unspoken bond with certain animals. I think Queen is not, he's my pet, but he's not a familiar for me. Like, we don't sense each other. We don't vibe with each other the way that I, like Hamo was a familiar. Queen is unfortunately not a familiar. I think Queen could be a familiar with my sister, Madame Cooking Mama, because he loves her. Like, he's really, like, he loves her. Like, I don't understand. Like, she can practically pick him up, and he, like, screams his head off at me. Whereas I live with him and feed him every day. So, he likes my mom okay, too. I think he just doesn't like me as much. He's been better lately, though. Like, with age, he's gained acceptance. Like, he's gained acceptance of me. So, it's ridiculous, but yeah, Madame Cooking Mama, her most recent cat baby was Boy Darcy Blake, which is notably tamer than London Christian Emotep or Paris Satine Anuxin Yaman. Also, Big Bree in the house. I think, Bree, you're like the first person I've said hi to officially. We've just been having so much fun talking about animals. Yeah, we've just accepted that we're stuck together. So, hold on, sorry, I have to like pull this shirt down. But yeah, I think that really covers it when it comes to the kittens. Now we're totally off track and we're talking about other things, but when it comes to the kittens, that's what has happened. They are in good care. My sister is still fostering them. We're trying to find them a forever home now, and they're in the midst of their veterinary treatment. Their next veterinary appointment is on September 30th, which is not because they couldn't get in sooner. That is the requirement for the time you need spread out between booster vaccines. So it's not like, oh, they couldn't get in any sooner. It's that you cannot get the next booster until 3 weeks later. So they're going back to the vet on the 30th of this month for their second of 3 boosters. So booster 2 of 3, and that's the next step. So that's a few weeks away still. Although I can't believe it's like, we're already into the double digits of September. Like, I don't know how this happened. But anyway, so that's the next step for them. Otherwise, they are good to go. They they will finish up their sorry. They will finish up their roundworm treatment on, I think, Sunday. Let me see, Wednesday. Yeah, Sunday they'll get their last treatment, and then they should be, you know, roundworm free. I almost said heartworm again. Roundworm free. They're already flea free. They're good. So they're on their way, and then they can just start gaining healthy weight and not have anything in their belly. So, but other than that, yeah, I will keep you guys updated. It's really hard to get photos of them too, because they are babies, so running all over the place, and you can't get them still for even 2 seconds. And so, that's just something else. You guys probably are like, where are all the photos? And it's like, they won't let me take any. So, it's very difficult to get photos of them. Sorry. My sister got some good ones, though. My sister, Madame Toadstool. So I'll try and share those as well periodically. Like, I've been sharing, like, kind of old photos just because I don't have any, like, good ones of them. They move or they don't turn out. Like, they just don't look good, the photos I've taken. And I made myself a chai tea latte. Shout out to Jelly Chai. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, you guys, is I'm going to restart the stream. So that way this can be a totally separate video on my YouTube channel from my Friday Night Mario Party stream. I just don't want them to be the same video. So I'm going to... I'm just going to restart the stream, so in a second I'll tell you guys to refresh. Yeah, good stream. We're not done. We're going to be coming back with Mario Party, so give me a second. And I will be right back. And I'll be a minute because I'm going to turn notifications back on. I've had everything turned off just so I wouldn't get interrupted, and when I come back I will play all the notifications. With the exception of hosts, because I know there tend to be a lot of those, and so I'll probably play like one in lieu of everybody and say, yeah, thank you guys, because you guys are awesome. So I will be right back, but thank you guys so much for listening to this kitty update. I love you guys. Thank you.